Episode 1. Do not blink when it smiles. My name is Riley Monroe. If you find this, I need you to understand something very clearly. The dream didn't start when I fell asleep. It started when I blinked. It was 3:07 a.m. I just woken from a nightmare. Sweating, heart racing, unable to move. My room was dark, but not silent. Something was breathing beside the bed. That's when I saw it. Not a shadow, not a demon. A smiling man, tall, pale, bent forward like a question mark, standing just outside the doorframe. He didn't move. He didn't speak. He only smiled. Too wide, lips too thin, as if his face had forgotten how to be human. I blinked. He was closer. I blinked again. He was in the room. My body wouldn't move. Not even my fingers. Only my eyes. I tried to scream, but my lungs were full of air that wouldn't come out. Then, I remembered something I don't know how I knew. If it smiles, don't blink. If it smiles, don't blink. I held my eyes open until they burned. The man didn't move. His smile twitched, like he was enjoying my fear. But I couldn't hold it. My eyelids shut for just a second. When I opened them, he was kneeling on my chest. His mouth never moved. But I heard him inside my head. You blinked, Riley. Now, I get to keep something. And suddenly I could move again. I shut up, gasping, screaming. The room was empty. The clock said 3:08 a.m. But I couldn't see. My eyes were open, but everything was black. And I swear, right before the darkness came, I saw him wink. Episode 2. She sleeps in my mirror. My name is Eliza Byrne, and I haven't looked into a mirror in 67 days. The last time I did, she looked back. It started with sleep paralysis, the usual kind. Couldn't move, couldn't breathe, could feel something in the room, but never saw it until one night. It didn't stay in the room. It crawled out of the mirror. At first, I thought I was dreaming, but dreams don't leave fingerprints. Dreams don't cry. That night, I saw her. She looked exactly like me, same messy braid, same chipped nail polish, even the scar above my left eyebrow. But her eyes weren't mine. They didn't blink. They didn't move. They stared, wide open, like she was pretending to be alive. And then she spoke. I sleep in the places you forget. I breathe where you refuse to look. I tried to scream, but my voice was gone. My throat felt filled with static. She pressed her palm against the glass. I did too. I don't know why. Maybe I thought she'd disappear. But instead, the mirror warmed under my skin, and I felt something shift, like the surface wasn't solid anymore, like she could switch places with me. That night, I covered every mirror in the house, but that didn't stop her. I started seeing her in other reflections, the kitchen window, the dark screen of my phone, even puddles on the street, always standing behind me, just far enough not to be real. Then, she started smiling, that broken smile, like it hurt to remember how. One night, she whispered something not out loud, but inside my ears, like the sound was coming from the roots. The more you look, the more I wake, and I'm so tired of dreaming. I tried to break every mirror. I even stopped brushing my hair, stopped checking if my clothes matched. I wanted to forget I had a face, but last night, I woke up frowning and found myself standing in front of the bathroom mirror. I wasn't moving. I was watching. She was awake, and I was the one behind the glass. She smiled. She reached out. She touched the mirror, and I swear, I felt it on my skin. I don't know how I got back, but this morning, I found a message scratched into the glass. You blink. They always blink. So please, if you ever see me in a mirror, and I'm smiling, don't smile back. Episode 3. The door at the bottom of my breath. My name is Micah. I'm 9 years old, but tonight might be my last birthday, because I stopped breathing when I dream, and the dreams are getting deeper. I don't remember when it started, only that Mom started sitting next to my bed every night, holding my hand, whispering, "Stay with me, Micah, just keep breathing." But sometimes, I forget. When I stop breathing, I fall into a different world, and there's always a door waiting for me. It never looks the same. Sometimes it's made of bones. Sometimes it's a hole in the sky. Last night, it was stitched into the chest of a dead deer in the snow, but it always opens when I get too close, and something inside always whispers my name. Micah, we're almost ready. I don't know who he is, but I think it's the same thing that stands behind the door. Tall, shadowy, it doesn't move, but somehow, it leaks into the dream, like ink in water, and when I wake up, I can still feel it in my lungs. Mom says I mumble things in my sleep, strange languages, names no one recognizes. One time, I woke up with dirt in my fingernails. Another time, blood on my pillow, but it wasn't mine. The doctors say I have night terrors, sleep apnea, brain misfires. but none of them saw the door. None of them saw the thing waiting on the other side. Last night, I stayed in the dream too long. I walked through the door, and for the first time, I didn't wake up gasping. I didn't wake up at all. Instead, I Saturday in a room made of size. The walls breathed, the floor whispered, and in the middle was a chair. It was made of mirrors, and someone was sitting in it. Me, but older, paler, and smiling like someone who remembered pain but didn't feel it anymore. He looked at me and said, "One more breath, Micah. That's all it takes. Just one more." Then he stood up, and I woke up, gasping, crying, and something inside me shifted. Now, when I exhale, the air sometimes feels cold, like it's coming from somewhere else, like it isn't mine anymore. And last night, when Mom leaned in and whispered, "Stay with me, Micah," I whispered back without meaning to, "He's almost here." Episode 4, The Man Who Sleeps in Everyone's Dream. My name is Jonah Griggs. I used to be a sleep technician. Now, I don't sleep at all. Not since they all started drawing the same face. 4 different patients, 4 different cities, same diagnosis, chronic sleep paralysis. They didn't know each other, no shared trauma, no internet connection, just one thing in common. Each one described him: tall, pale, white smile, never blinking. The first patient called him the breather, set his head over her chest and breathed for her, slowly, deliberately, like teaching her how to die. The second, he called him the smiling god, said he appeared in a desert dream, where the sand was teeth and the sky whispered prayers in reverse. The third wouldn't speak. He just screamed when shown the sketch I made. And the fourth died in his sleep, but not before whispering one thing into the recording mic I always leave on. He sleeps inside all of us, but he only wakes when we believe he's real. That was 3 weeks ago. Since then, I've stopped seeing patients, but I've started dreaming, and he started visiting. First, I saw him standing in a subway station I've never been to. Next night, he was waiting inside my closet. Last night, he Saturday on my chest and whispered into my ear with my father's voice, "It's okay, Jonah, you're not awake. You never were." I've gone back and listened to old sleep recordings, hundreds of hours, white noise, murmurs, and in one of thing from 4 years ago. Before all of this began, I heard something I'd never noticed before, a breath, and then a voice. "Jonah, my name," whispered before I ever met these patients, before I drew the face, before I knew he existed. He's always been there, in the gaps between REM cycles, in the silence between snores, in the black between dreams. And now I wonder, what if sleep paralysis isn't the body failing to wake up? What if it's the mind getting stuck in the hallway where he lives? I smashed every mirror, burned the sketches, deleted the tapes, but it's too late, because tonight I found a photo in my childhood album, age 5, asleep on the couch, and behind me, blurry, faint, was his smile. So now I whisper this into the recorder, for whoever finds it. If you've seen him too, don't look again, don't say his name, and whatever you do, don't fall asleep thinking about him, because that's how he gets in. Episode 5, The Girl Who Burned Her Dreams. My name is Ivy Lamb, and I did what no one else could. I escaped, but not without scars, not without a price. It started the night I set fire to my childhood bedroom. The fire marshal called it accidental, said the old electrical wiring sparked behind the wall. But that's not what happened. I set the fire because something inside that room refused to stay asleep. Every time I closed my eyes, the dreams returned. Not dreams, memories, dressed in flame. The smell of burning sheets, the soft crackle of whispers in the smoke, the tall figure at the foot of my bed, always smiling. I called him Ashmouth, because when he spoke, his voice left the taste of soot on my tongue. I stopped sleeping. 3 days, 5, 7, my body trembled, my vision blurred, but I stayed awake until the 8th night, when I collapsed, and they put me under medical sedation, forced sleep, and in that darkness was waiting, not in my dream, in theirs. The nurse had a nightmare that night. She saw a girl burning in a house made of teeth. She quit the next day. I realized then, he moves through memory, through shared fear. If one person dreams of him, the others start remembering. So I did the only thing left. I went back to the house, to the place where it all began, and I burned everything. The mattress, the closet, the photo albums, the journals, even my childhood stuffed bird whose eyes had started to bleed in the dreams. I poured gasoline on every wall, lit the match, and watched it all become ash. And when the flames reached the ceiling, I closed my eyes. He didn't come. No whispers, no breath, only silence. For the first time in 10 years, I slept, and for 10 more. I never dreamed again until last week when a child I never met handed me a crayon drawing outside a bookstore. It was a house on fire, and inside it, a smiling man. The child looked up at me and said, "He told me you still remember." I didn't say a word. I just turned, walked away, and cried in the rain, because I know what that drawing means. He survived, in the embers, in the smoke, and he's waking up again. So, if you hear fire crackling in your dreams, don't open your eyes. He's not done with us yet. Episode 6. The silence between their screams. My name is Harper Vale, and I've been hearing screams in my dreams, but they're not mine. They belong to strangers. A boy gasping for air, a woman whispering, "Don't blink," a man repeating one name over and over, "Jonah, Jonah, Jonah." At first, I thought I was going mad, but then I started recording them, and I discovered something terrifying. The voices weren't part of my dreams. They were leaking in, other people's voices, other people's nightmares, each one layered under the next like a dying radio signal, broken, bleeding, distant, until one night, the silence between those screams spoke back. It happened during a paralysis episode. I was frowned, flat on my back, room perfectly still, except for the mirror. It was fogged over, but not from heat, from breath. His breath, the same white smile I've only ever heard described, the same unblinking eyes that have been drawn over and over. But this time, he didn't speak. She did. A girl's voice raw, panicked from somewhere inside the mirror. "My name is Ivy. He's awake. We're still inside." I screamed, but my mouth didn't move. I scratched at my sheets, and when I woke up, my nails were full of ash and glass. So I tried something I've never dared before. I played the dream recordings backward, and underneath the screams, there was a voice, a name, Clara. I don't know who these people are, but I think we're all pieces of something broken, fragments of a dream someone or something is trying to remember. Because last night, I didn't wake up in my own body. I woke up in someone else's dream, a subway station, flickering lights, a figure waiting on the tracks, and someone beside me whispered, "You're not alone anymore." I turned. It was a man, pale, shaking, eyes wide. He whispered, "Jonah Griggs, Sleep Tech, Episode 4. Then he vanished. When I woke up, my phone was ringing. No caller ID. I answered, only static. Then, a whisper, "We're coming together, one scream at a time." I dropped the phone. I'm still shaking, because now I know the truth. The dreams aren't just bleeding into each other. They're merging, and the watcher, he's not watching anymore. He's listening. Episode 7 echoes from the mouth without a face. My name is. I can't say it anymore. They took my voice 3 nights ago. Not just in the dream. In real life, I woke up with my throat raw. No scream, no whisper, just silence. The doctors say it's psychogenic, trauma-induced mutism, but they don't know what I saw, what I felt. It began as sleep paralysis. Same pattern, can't move, can't scream, can't breathe, but this time, there was no man, no mirror, no burning house, only a mouth, floating above me, lipless, fleshless, just a perfect, oval void, no teeth, just hunger. And from that hole, I didn't hear a voice. I felt pain, mine, multiplied, every mistake I've made, every person I've hurt, every secret I thought I buried. It rushed out of me and into it, like the mouth was feeding on my guilt. And when I finally woke up, my voice was gone, not hoarse, not injured, just erased. But here's the thing, and this is why I'm writing this. Since then, I've started dreaming through other people. I can't speak, but when I sleep, someone else wakes up screaming. My best friend dreamt of drowning last night. She said she couldn't breathe, as if something had sucked all the air from the water. My neighbor called me today, asking if I was okay. She said she dreamed of being skinned alive in a room made of laughter. She woke up crying blood, and I knew it was me, or what's left of me. I'm not dreaming anymore. I'm projecting. I'm leaking pain like black ink into the people I love. And I think, no, I know it's him, the one behind the dreams, the one who smiles with no joy, listens with no ears, and now feeds without a mouth. He's inside me now, not watching, not whispering, just waiting. Every time someone around me sleeps, they carry a piece of my nightmare, and I carry their screams back into mine. It's spreading, and when enough of us connect, when enough of us hurt at the same time, he'll speak again, and it will be in our voices. So if you dream of silence, wake up before it echoes. Episode 8, When Mirrors Remember Faces. My name is Clara Wells, and I think I died in Episode 1, but that's not the part that terrifies me. What terrifies me is the mirror still knows my name. I remember waking up, the flesh-like bed, the breathing walls, the mirror that didn't reflect me. That version of me, the one that smiled from the other side, took my place. I told myself it was just a dream, but lately, strange things have started happening. People I've never met whisper my name in crowded places. I walk past store windows and see others staring back, not me, but versions of me. Some are crying, some are burning. One is grinning like it knows something I don't. And this morning, I saw her again, myself, in the mirror, standing still. She wasn't moving with me. I blinked. She didn't. She just mouthed the words. "You're still asleep, Clara. You never left." I tried smashing the mirror, but the shards all showed different things. One showed Jonah screaming in a subway tunnel. One showed Micah being pulled into a door of bones. One showed Ivy standing in ash, reaching out to me. And one showed my body, still lying in that breathing bed, eyes open, motionless. It hit me then. I didn't escape. I've just been dreaming inside a dream, like a trap layered in whispers. And now the mirrors have started to respond. Each one I pass begins fogging as I approach, like someone on the other side is breathing against it. Sometimes I hear tapping, 3 knocks, then silence, then a whisper, "Let us in." But I don't know who was is, the dead, the trapped, or the pieces of me I left behind. Because last night, I saw something that shattered me. A mirror in an abandoned thrift shop, not plugged in, not polished, just sitting there. But inside it, lined up behind my reflection, were all of them. Jonah, Micah, Ivy, Harper, even the boy without a voice, all staring, all mouthing the same phrase. "We are you, and you are next." And I woke up, but I'm not sure this is the real world, because every surface is glass now, and none of them reflect me anymore. Episode 9, The Dream That Ate Thursday. My name is Ellis Marin, and I've never had a Thursday. I don't mean I don't like Thursdays. I mean, they never happen for me. Every week, I go to sleep on Wednesday night, and when I open my eyes, it's Friday. At first, I thought I was just forgetting, a glitch, a blackout, a case of sleepwalking, but then I started asking questions. My coworkers would say things like, "See you tomorrow, Ellis. Don't forget Thursday's meeting," but they never remembered it afterward. When I'd ask on Friday, they'd blink and say, "What meeting?" It's like they thought it existed, until it didn't. So I started keeping a dream journal. Every Wednesday night, I write, "Tonight, find Thursday," and every time, I wake up to find the page torn out, or soaked in water, or rewritten in a language I didn't understand. Until one night, I stayed lucid. I found myself in a hallway, infinite, dimly lit, lined with doors, each one marked with a day of the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then a burned, blackened door where Thursday should be. I reached for the handle. It was hot, pulsing, like it was breathing, and behind it, I heard chewing. Something was eating. I opened the door, and the scream that followed was mine, but older, a version of me trapped in the room for years. His eyes were wide, his mouth still shut, and in the corner, something tall and thin, with no face, Saturday in a throne made of clocks. Its hands were all wrong, to many joints, to many fingers, turning time backwards, then forward, then folding it in on itself. It looked at me with no eyes, and I heard it whisper from inside my bones, "You weren't supposed to remember. Thursday belongs to me now." I woke up choking on calendar pages, every one of them missing the word Thursday. I checked the internet, nothing strange, no missing time, no global anomaly, except for one thing, a forum post, dated Thursday, but the rest was glitched, unreadable. The user's name, CLARAWMIRO32. She written, "If you see a hallway of days, don't open the burned one. That's where he lives. That's what he eats." I've stopped sleeping since then, but I know I can last, because next time I close my eyes, he'll eat more than a day. He'll eat me. Episode 10. We never left the first dream. My name is. No, our name doesn't matter anymore, because we've all come here, to the center, to the first dream. It began with different screams, different nights, different faces, but it always ended the same, in silence. And tonight, that silence broke. We all woke up in the same room. Jonah, Ivy, Micah, Harper, Clara, Ellis, and whoever I was before this no longer matters, because we were all awake in the dream. The room was round, no doors, no windows. The walls were made of whispers, breath, and a faint hum that grew louder the longer we stood still. None of us spoke at first. Then Clara whispered, "This is the room from the mirror." Jonah replied, "No, this is the room from the recordings." And Ivy, She knelt and touched the floor, whispering, "This is the place I tried to burn." Micah looked older, so much older. He simply pointed to the center, where a figure stood, the watcher. But he wasn't watching. He was sleeping, calm, faceless, covered in markings that shifted like living language. Around him, suspended in the air, floated objects from each of our nightmares. A crayon drawing, a burned necklace, a broken mirror, a clock with no hands, a photograph of someone smiling who shouldn't have. We didn't speak. We didn't need to. We all understood. This wasn't a new place. This was where we began, the origin of every sleep paralysis, every blackout, every whispered echo and bleeding wall. This room was the first dream, the one none of us remembered dreaming. And he was born here, from us, our fears, our pain, our silence. And then he opened his eyes, black, endless, and full of recognition. We tried to run, but the room folded. Time collapsed. The room became Micah's hallway, Ivy's fire, Harper's mirror, Clara's bed, Jonah's subway, and my voice. I could hear all of us inside it, screaming. We Northeast woke up, because we hadn't. This is still the dream. It always was. We're not survivors. We're fragments, shards of the first nightmare. And he's finally whole. Episode 11, The Daylight That Bled Through. My name is Mile Horn, and I did it. I woke up. No gasping, no paralysis, no shadows waiting at the foot of my bed. Just sunlight, soft, golden, real. The air smelled like citrus. I heard bird song, the distant hum of traffic. Life. I laughed, cried, spun in circles like a child drunk on freedom. After weeks of dreaming, of burning mirrors and silent screams, I was awake, or so I thought. It started small. The bird song. It was off, too synchronized, too perfect, like someone pressed play on a loop titled Comfort. Wave. Then the sun. It moved too fast. Shadows stretched and snapped back like rubber bands. And when I blinked, it wasn't morning anymore. It was 3:07 p.m., the same time it always was when it first appeared. I ran to my front door, opened it, stepped into a street that bent upward, like the sky was swallowing it. And in every window of every house, I saw myself, some crying, some burning, one smiling with a mouth too wide to be mine. I turned to run, but my shadow didn't follow. It stood still, then turned around to face me, and it whispered, in a voice that was all the voices from the previous episodes layered into one. "You didn't wake up, Maya. You broke the wall between sleep and light." And now, he sees in color. The sunlight dimmed, not like clouds covering it, but like someone draining it from the sky. And we're like used to be. There was blood, streaks of red leaking from the corners of windows, bleeding down the trees, dripping from the clouds like rain that had forgotten how to be water. Then I heard the birds again, still singing, still looped. Only this time, they were harmonizing with a voice underneath. A low, vibrating hum, syllables with no beginning or end. It spoke through their beaks, their chirp syncing with his cadence. There is no more waking, only shifting. I fell to my knees, covered my ears, screamed for something real. And in that moment, just for a second, I saw you, reading this, listening, thinking you're safe. You're not, because this message isn't from a story. It's not even from me anymore. He's streaming through me now. And you're just beginning to hear his morning voice. Episode 12, The Ones Who Never Existed. My name is Harper Vale, or at least, I thought it was, until last night, until I met the child. She appeared at the end of a hallway that didn't exist in my apartment. She held a red crayon in one hand. Her eyes were pitch black, not evil, just empty. She looked up at me and said, "Do you know how many of you are real?" I asked who she was. She smiled. "I'm the memory that didn't stick, the glitch that got curious." Then she handed me a piece of paper, a drawing, all of us, Jonah, Ivy, Clara, Micah, Alice, me. But some of the faces were crossed out, burned, smudged, erased. She pointed to the empty silhouettes and whispered, "They were never people, just anchors, anchors, for you, so you'd stay, so you'd feel less alone." It made sense. Micah never aged. Claire's mirror never reflected light. Jonah remembered voices from before he met them. Alice lost a day that no one else noticed. Ivy, she was the first to scream, but the last to leave a footprint. We were all trapped in a dream, but some of us were the dream. I was shaking. Then she said the thing that broke me. "One of you is still real. The rest are cages." I asked who. She just turned the drawing over, written in a child's shaky scrawl. The Washington TCHER dreams in people. And in that moment, I remembered something I was never meant to. The first episode, not Clara's, mine. I was the one in the bed. I was the one who blinked first. And that meant, the moment I woke up in the dream, something else woke up in me. It's not watching anymore. It's wearing us, playing us like instruments, like fiction dressed in fear. And those of you listening, you're part of it now, because the dream doesn't end when the story stops. It ends when no one remembers. And now, you do. Episode 13. We are what he's dreaming of. My name doesn't matter anymore, because I am not a person. I'm the shape of his fear. I used to think I was surviving, escaping nightmares, piecing together the truth, one scream at a time, but every door I opened led me back to him, the Watcher. He isn't chasing us, he's remembering us. Each name we gave ourselves, Clara, Jonah, Ivy, Micah, Elias, Harper, each story we told, they weren't steps toward freedom, they were chapters in a book he was dreaming. And now, the final page is turning. I see it now, not metaphorically. I mean I see it, a sky of carton, words drifting like ash. My thoughts are my own their narration. The air is growing thinner, not from lack of oxygen, but from lack of belief. He's starting to wake, and as he does, this world whispers, the mirrors, the doors that lead nowhere, it's all unraveling. I watched Jonah disappear first, not die, just vanish, like a sentence erased. Then Ivy, she tried to burn herself again, but the fire turned to ink, and she became a smudge on the wall. Clara screamed until her mouth melted into silence. Micah whispered, I remember being real, and then blinked out like a skip frame. Now it's just me, floating between sentences, losing structure, becoming past tense. You see, we weren't trapped in his dream. We were the dream he needed us to process, to contain, to soften the horror of what he really is. And now that he's waking, there's no need for us anymore. But before I fade, I leave this truth for you. If you've heard our stories, if you've dreamt of mirrors and elves and burned calendars, it means he's not fully awake yet. It means you still have time to forget, to refuse to believe. Because the moment you accept it, the moment you say, it's just a story, he'll stop dreaming and start looking, and what he sees, it keeps forever. Episode 14, the book that reads itself. You're still here, you made it to the end, but something isn't right, is it? The light in the room has dimmed. You checked the clock twice already, but time isn't moving the way it used to. You're wondering if you accidentally fell asleep. You didn't, the story did, and now it's waking up inside you. Let me ask you something. Do you remember when this began? Was it Clara's mirror, Micah's hallway, Maya's bleeding daylight? No, it began long before that. The moment you read the first word, you didn't realize it, but by reading, you accepted the contract. The Watcher doesn't come through the mirror, or the doorway, or the crayon sketch. He comes through the act of attention. And you gave him that. You traced his shape with your eyes, let him inside through your breathless suspense. But here's the twist. This wasn't a story about sleep paralysis. It was about conscious invasion. Fiction, remember, is a safe place until it stops being fiction. You're not reading this page. This page is reading you. It sees the way your eyes narrow at certain phrases, the way your heart flinched when Ellis lost his Thursday, the way your breath caught when Harper saw her reflection move first. The Watcher has learned you, and now, he's writing again, only this time. You are the next chapter, a new protagonist, a new illusion of waking, a new dream that thinks it's real. You go about your day, work, eat, talk, laugh, but tonight, at 3:07 a.m., you'll open your eyes, and the ceiling will be breathing, the mirror will be fogged, your name will echo where it shouldn't, and somewhere, in the corner of the room, where the dark folds deepest, he'll be watching, smiling, writing, dreaming you. So now, ask yourself, before you blink, before you close this tab, are you sure this is still your world, or are you just the page he's about to turn?